Honorable Minister Jeff Khadebe, Minister in the Presidency responsible for planning, monitoring and evaluation. Honorable Jeff Khadebe, Minister responsible for statistics. Mr. Wu Hongbo, Under-Secretary of the UN Department of Economic and Social Affairs. Your Excellency Michael Feber, Special Envoy for Global Sustainable Development, if you are in the audience. My brother Mr. Stefan Schweinfest, Director of United Nations Statistics Division. The Chair of Statistics Council of South Africa, Mr. Ben Patlele. I don't see gray hair here, but in absentia. Oh, he's here. The gray hair. Yes, it must be distinguished, I must see it. Ms. Zanthia Limbeck, member of the Mayoral Council, City of Cape Town. The MEC for the province of Gauteng, Mr. Jacob Mamabolo, I saw you are here, sir. Distinguished dignitaries and members of the diplomatic corps, non-government organizations, fellow statisticians, data technology scientists, financing houses, and all fraternities, and ladies and gentlemen. Allow me to thank the United Nations Secretary General to have so generously decided that South Africa hosts the very first United Nations World Data Forum. Again, allow me to thank Minister Khadebe distinctly to have led the charge in Cabinet for South Africa to host this very first forum. Let me thank the program committee and its co-chairs to have come up with such an elaborate program. Stefan, my brother and friend, and your Secretariat of the United Nations Statistics Division, and my colleagues of high-level group, thank you to you all for deciding that South Africa hosts this very first forum. The staff of STSA, you remain formidable. 6 months ago, we had and shared nightmares as regards the possibility of this function. That was when the award was made. But now the dreams are true, not the nightmares. Statistics is a conduit of trust. It is the most publicly transacted currency and therefore has to imbue trust. Statistics therefore has to be produced by those that, in the eyes and lived experiences of the community of practice and use, most importantly, can be trusted. Yet, as it is evident, trust falls like manna from heaven, only rarely. What has been then the journey? The United Nations Fundamental Principles of Official Statistics, particularly Principle 4, places the obligation to fight abuse and misrepresentation and misinterpretation of statistics on us, the chief statisticians. Some of my own experiences upon assuming duty as the Statistician General in 2000, I asked myself the question, how would I implement Principle 4, which says the chief statistician should pronounce without fear or favor on abuse of statistics? The question was, should I take a combative stance, a defensive stance, or an educative stance? But how would I know, given that first and foremost I'm a statistician, and second I understand technology through which we practice statistics. Third, I also understand logistics and complications of big operations such as undertakings of censuses and indeed any statistical operation. What informed me was at times the unease with procedures that got in the way and politicians who asked at times unreasonable questions. The order of priority was then statistics, technology and logistics, and governance and politics accounted for very little. But after burning my fingers a number of times with adverse audit outcomes, it was clear how the order had to be organized. By 2002, I had an answer, and an educative stance won the day. In the ordering then was first and importantly paying an arduous amount of time to understanding politics. Second, ensuring good governance, then logistics, technology, and finally statistics. And obviously, a fish need not be praised for swimming. So statistics must be the last in the order of our priorities. So from the 28th of September 2002, I started a weekly column in the Business Report, a national news daily paper. In the last 14 years, I've published no less than 750 weekly columns, and this contributed tremendously in building trust in statistics in South Africa. It is for this reason, amongst many others, that the world shared the burden of trust to Statistics South Africa, to, amongst others, host the Commonwealth Statistics Conference in 2005, the 57th session of the ISI in 2009, the very first United Nations World Data Forum we host today, and the 28th IUSSP session in this very venue in October, November this year. Statistics suffer the burden of public exposure and scrutiny, and this exposure is industry-wide. Left unprotected and left to self-regulation, bad elements of practice contaminate the system of statistics. As all of us chief statisticians or the statisticians general, we always experience the burden of this exposure, and we need to play a greater role of being agents of information that serve as educative instruments. It establishes presence of statistics where it is needed the most, builds public confidence in statistics, breeds critical thinking in society, deepens democracy, and builds institutional brand. So as the measurement arm of the Sustainable Development Goal SDGs take root, especially with the ebbs and flows of many emerging players in this space with technology, financing, and ideas, the need for thought leadership to exude statistics as a conduit of trust is more urgent. The most valued treasure of statistics use is time saving. It is its museum value. Left to their own devices, the unfettered emergence of multitudes of players in the space is a fundamental threat to the practice of statistics, and the United Nations World Data Forum provides the space for organizing to preserve and sustain statistics time series for posterity, prosperity, through use and enjoyment by people and planet. We need to learn that use and practice of statistics, including emergence of other players, is possible when a statistician general takes an educative lead in terms of the United Nations fundamental principles of official statistics. This is especially holding fearlessly to Principle 4, addressing misuse and wrong interpretation of statistics. Being alive to the fact that the message and the messenger share a lot in common and therefore can rarely escape scrutiny, attack, gossip, ridicule, and indeed public approval. Minister, this is our message to you as you step to Davos tonight, where the world is discussing the fourth revolution. This congregation is seized with the wondrous task of the fourth revolution as an enabler of sustainable development, where planet, people, and prosperity coexist and is predictable. This is indeed the role of the World Data Forum to sensitize us to this historic mission. I thank you, Master of Ceremony.